What's up everyone, Brad here with the Money Dad channel. In this video I want to go over Netflix and the big tech stocks because Netflix reported earnings a few days ago now at the time of this video coming out, and the street just absolutely loved these earnings. You could see the stock was up 16, almost 17% today, well yesterday when you're seeing this video, and on some massive volume as well. Massive interest, massive volume, massive move for Netflix. And I wanted to make this video because this move in Netflix had implications on a lot of different stocks, the big tech stocks, and we talk about a lot of those stocks on this channel, so I wanted to go over what this means for all of those stocks, okay? If you've been following my channel, you may know that I am not a big fan of Netflix, but the street liked the earnings report on this quarter, okay? So look, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert. I am absolutely not. I am a retail investor that's been doing this for 15 years. I am not in the profession. I just make YouTube videos on the trades that I make in the stock market, okay? But I am on record saying I don't like Netflix because they are in the streaming service, and I think that Disney is eventually going to take their place as the leading streamer, and I think Disney just has a lot more going for it. That doesn't mean that there can't be more than one streaming service, right? I mean, there's a ton of streaming services. I've made videos about Amazon and how I think that chart looks very good going forward, and Amazon has their streaming service. It's not like there's only one name in the streaming service space, right? So there is room for Netflix and Disney to succeed together going forward, absolutely. I'm just not a fan of investing in Netflix specifically. That doesn't mean I won't invest in some indexes that have Netflix in them. I'm just not going to put my money in Netflix itself until I see information that changes my mind, right? If I start seeing some fundamental reports or some technical indicators that change my mind, then maybe I will change my sentiment. But for the time being, that is not the case. Now that said, there was something in this quarterly report that caught my eye, caught my attention, and started to change my sentiment on this stock. Not entirely. I'm not a bull on this stock yet, but there was something that I really did like, and that was that they expect to be cash flow positive going forward. That is a huge deal, especially for Netflix. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. I'm getting sidetracked here. I want to get back into the charts because that is what this channel is about, right? We look at technical setups on the charts for trades. Okay, so Netflix reported earnings. The street loved it. This stock absolutely rocketed, right? I mean, we're looking at a stock that has been trading in this channel for a very long time. This channel started back in July of 2020, and it has been trading in that channel since then. And all of a sudden, boom, 16, 17% to the upside. It gapped up above the channel. It opened the day above the channel, and it stayed above the channel. It closed above the channel, that on massive volume. That is huge, okay? That's huge for Netflix, and it was huge for the rest of the big tech stocks. Let's look at some of those. Okay, so Google. Look at this. Oh, weird. A gap up above a channel. Wouldn't you know it? Do you think that's a coincidence that happened on the same exact day? No. It's because, like I said in my last video, these big tech stocks like to move together. They are in index funds. They're in ETFs together. All of these massive institutional investors that buy and sell these big funds, they buy and sell all of these stocks together, right? Yes, they are their individual companies. They are their own companies, and you will see differences from time to time. Like, for example, Netflix is up 17% while Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Apple and Facebook are only up, a fraction of that, even though they are up significantly. But they are all up together. They all gapped up significantly together, right? Because they're all trading in these funds together. So a lot of these charts look pretty similar. That's because they're all trading in these funds together, right? So Netflix had a great day. Therefore, all of the big tech stocks had a great day. It's funny how that all happens together, right? Google gaps up above the channel it was in and then stays above it. Opens above it, closes above it, trades above it. All above that channel. It's interesting to note that. Are we going to stay above that channel and continue up? Are we going to drop back into it? These gaps, if we're playing with gap theory here, stock market trading on gap theory, gaps tend to get filled, meaning the stock will trade back to where that gap was to fill it with a candlestick, right? You will see a candlestick come in and fill this gap. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with gaps, you see this big hole here in Netflix? That's because this stock was trading down here yesterday, and then it had a massive earnings report after the stock market closed, and the stock market, all of the traders in the market, after getting that new information, valued the stock up here. So there was no trading in between these two spots, right? So it closed yesterday here and it opened today up here. This is called a gap. And in stock market trading, the theory is, or technical analysis trading anyway, the theory is that gaps tend to get filled. So these stocks will tend to come back down and trade and put candlesticks into this gap to fill it, right? Like, look back here, for example. This is a great example. Here's a gap. This is a gap. Look what happened shortly after. These candlesticks, this price action came up and filled the gap almost perfectly. Oh my goodness, this is just an example that I just found right now as I'm recording. Swear to God. And look, these candlesticks came up, and look at the top of this candlestick, almost perfectly filled that gap to the top, right? It took a little bit longer to fill that gap completely, but these candlesticks right here, shortly after this gap, almost completely filled that gap. Anyway, that is the theory behind gaps in candlesticks, right? So what I'm trying to say, long story short, is there's a massive gap here. There is a massive gap here, and the theory is this stock will come back down eventually, right? It's not going to happen immediately, or it may not happen immediately, but it could, right? I mean, this gap happened, and then it took a little while, and eventually we got that gap filled, right? That gap got filled, okay? So it might not happen right now, or it could happen over the next couple of days. We don't know. But that gap, according to this theory, should get filled eventually, which means Netflix could trend lower in the near to medium term future just to fill that gap, and then maybe we head higher from there. Who knows? Okay? So that's what I've got for Netflix. Massive gap. I think there's a good chance that a lot of it gets filled. But we've got that gap up on Google. And now what's going on with some of the other big tech stocks? I just made a video about Amazon saying we needed to watch and make sure that we bounced off of this support. And wouldn't you know it, Netflix goes out, reports a bombshell of an earnings report, and Amazon just shoots to the upside, right? Because all of these big tech stocks are moving together. And Amazon bounces right off that support, perfectly off the support. I just made a video on this. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect support. Jumped right back up into that pennant, right? And we are moving higher on good volume. It's looking really good for Amazon right now. Okay, so that is one of the big tech stocks that is benefiting from that strong earnings report from Netflix, right? That is a technical support line right there that held up perfectly for Amazon, and the Netflix earnings report was the catalyst that we needed to get Amazon to bounce off of that support. So that worked out perfect. Tesla, I'm not going to get into because it didn't move with the other big tech stocks. It hasn't been in the S&P 500 for very long. I don't know that it's quite in all of the big index funds and ETFs yet. I haven't done that research. I don't know. But judging by this price action, I am going to assume that it is not moving with all of the other big tech stocks because it's not in all of those funds yet. I don't know that for certain. This is an assumption. But if you look at all these other big tech stocks, right, you had Netflix is the leader today because of the massive earnings report and massive price movement, but it pulled Google significantly, Amazon significantly, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, all massive market cap stocks, and they moved big today because of that big Netflix report. Tesla was up 0.7%, which is a good day. I mean, hey, we're up, but it didn't move to Tesla's standards, and it didn't move as much as some of these other stocks, right? So I don't know what's going on there. I don't think it's in all the funds yet, but I don't know that for certain. Don't quote me on that. It's just an assumption. So I'll need to do some more digging on that. So let's move on to the next one. Microsoft. Look what happened here. Massive move up. We touched the top of the channel, right? This looks like a consolidation channel or bull pennant, probably some kind of consolidation, and we shot to the upside, touched the top of it. So that's really interesting, right? Now we've got some overhead resistance. It looked like it provided resistance today, and we have to see what's going to happen, right? Are we going to hit that? Are we going to hit our heads up against that and bounce lower? Or are we going to break through and start our breakout, which could be pretty significant? So we need to watch Microsoft there. Apple. Apple is kind of an outlier here because I see a cup and handle pattern on Apple. It's not this consolidation channel or bull pennant like we're seeing on a lot of the other tech stocks. This is a cup and handle that I think we see start to trace up significantly going forward. But I don't know that for certain, right? We need to see if it traces up to this cup, this lid, and then break out from there. But today was a certainly played its part, in getting up to that lid. We made some ground there. So pretty big day for Apple there, just like all the other big tech stocks. And then you have Facebook. Facebook broke down under its consolidation phase. I've been making videos about this. When we broke down under here, I really did not like what I saw, but we bounced off right where we made that low, very similar to its previous low back in September. So that looks like a double bottom, which could be a bullish indicator. I know I was just saying last week that, look, this stock chart looks terrible because we broke out under the consolidation phase, and it looked bad. I mean, that looks very bad. You can project a price target to the downside on that. But judging by where it created its bottom, it coincides with this bottom right here. That looks like a double bottom, which could be very good for this stock. We'll have to see where this goes forward, right? I need to reassess. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to clear these lines off because I don't think they apply anymore. we need to get a nice clear view of this stock chart and reassess going forward. So I'm gonna do some digging on Facebook as well and see what I can get here. So long story short, Netflix dropped a massive earnings report. The stock chart shot up huge. All of the other big tech stocks shot up similarly, not quite as big as Netflix, but they all moved in unison with Netflix because they are all trading in these big index funds, ETFs, all these funds, right? So these big institutional investors are buying and selling these funds that have all of these stocks together, so they're all moving together, right? So Netflix had this massive day. All the other big tech stocks had this massive day, except for Tesla. Tesla did okay, 0.7% to the upside, but not nearly as big as some of the other ones, okay? I am worried about this gap. I do wonder if we're going to trade down into this gap to fill it. There's no guarantee there, absolutely, but I would not be surprised to see that gap get filled. Okay, that's what I've got for Netflix and the big tech stocks. If you guys enjoyed this analysis, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber yet. Leave a comment down below. I'll see you there and in the next video. Thanks, guys.